Good morning, Rabbi Isai. L'nishmas imi meros v'rus bas Mordechai. I always say that in the shir we have all types of Yidden. We have Ashkenazim, Sephardim, Hasidim, Litvaks, Tzionim, Anti-Tzionim, and we also have young kids, 8-year-olds and up, and we have what we could call even the Zkanim. We have the elders, we have a tremendous schus, Rabbi Itzkowitz. It's his birthday today. He's not going to tell us how old he is, but last year he was 84. Here, come.
Here's 120.
Come, say. You want to give us a bracha here, bracha.
First of all, to the Magashir, I want to give bracha. Many more good years.
Amen.
It changed my life, you know how? Because I walk every morning back and forth to do exercise. And I started coming to a very early minyan. I never, except for Slichas, I never went to minyan so early. And I want to give a whole, really the...
Israel, come here, Israel. We'll do the... get over here, quickly. Yeah.
Whole really the mate, I want to bless everybody.
Here, come, stand next to Rabbi. Here, this is MDY right over here. The 10-year-old and the last year 84-year-old. All right, Yishkoyach. Admei ve'estrim. But tell the Olam, did it really change your life? I'm going through my emails just as they come in. They're coming in slow and furious. A couple thousand emails that I didn't read yet. This is from Sarah Corlin, January 12th. Dear Rebelli, a few years ago, my husband began learning Daf. Before that, learning wasn't really part of his life, and none of us could have imagined how deeply MDY would have transformed our home and especially our children. I'll be honest, when the Shabbaton?
He was from Morocco.
Yeah. Okay, I guess. Let's see. I'll be honest, when the Shabbaton first came up, I was hesitant to go. I came mainly to support my husband, but by the end of Shabbaton, I found myself asking him if there was a way to pre-sign up for next one. When we got home from the Shabbaton and gave my son the MDY words, he didn't stop to hesitate for a second. He took everything, sat right down, and poured his whole heart into building the MDY Bat. MDY Bat? Speak Corlin? Yeah. You don't know what he... Okay. Watching was incredibly emotional for us parents. In that... Oh! I think it's like a robot. The picture that I showed of a kid with a robot. Not the... What's that bat? I got it. Now I got it. Watching was deeply incredibly emotional for his parents. At that moment, it was so clear just how deeply MDY has touched him. I'll tell you, this is like from 9 months ago, this email. I'm reading it now. So it probably came with a picture, who knows what. Thank you, Rebellion and Shpag, and the time MDY is such a beautiful meeting of Shabbaton. MDY has truly changed our lives. We're so grateful to be part of this family, already counting down to the next Shabbaton. Sarah, MDY, proud MDY wife. Hello, this is a translation. Bracha from Haifa. I give class entire Shnais. The children will work as a barber the rest of the day. I first heard about the concept of, let me show you a picture of what he looks like. Here he is. This is the barber. Ben Torah. So he says, I really connected with the idea and tried several times to join the shir regularly, but somehow it always fell through. That didn't stop me from getting people involved along the way. Baruch Hashem, the center opened here. This time I decided, there's a satellite location, and this time I decided to go through fire and water without iron heart, and I haven't missed a single day. Either I go to the satellite location, sit and learn with everyone, or on days when the barbershop is especially busy, I simply turn on the live share through the speaker, and Baruch Hashem, people really enjoy it. Of course, the regularity of the learning has completely changed my life. And the most exciting part is that children ask me every day to turn on Reb Eli for them instead of playing songs at the barbershop. I don't manage to share it on my stats every day, but I can testify that almost every day there's another Jew who joined. Just in the last 2 weeks, I brought 12 people into the mishpacha. He's in Haifa. But today, something happened that was most moving of all. I received the message from the most unexpected person, the very last person I ever thought would respond to my request, and this was the message. Hi, how are you? Okay, no one knows better than you how far away I am from the world of Gemara learning. You're always sharing with me about the shiurim, listen every day, and I'm happy for you. You try gently to convince me to join, I always tell you, leave me alone. I'm not there anymore. So here's the thing I want to share with you, that quietly, without telling you, About a week ago, I decided to see what you're talking about. I searched on Google, found the shir, and listened to it. Since then, for the entire week, I've been learning the daf with you and without you knowing. And now I can finally tell you that I understand what you've been talking about. Something amazing. I'm afraid to get fired up as you are, but I don't think I'm very far away. Stefansky is truly something special. The way he speaks so simply at eye level, exactly what allows the charisma to come through. In short, I'm with you hand in hand, entering a new path of Daf Yomi. Hopefully I won't break along the way, and even if I do, it's not about the daf, it's about the Yomi. Thank you. I'm attaching pictures in the barbershop. Regarding Shnai Mikro, okay. V'chulu v'chulu, best regards, Rafal Schechter from Haifa. The point is, if you keep on pestering people, nudge them nicely, eventually they might come to learn. Here it is in his barbershop with the shear on there, and etc. Okay. Rabbi Isai, Paras HaMesechta, sorry, official edition of MDY Shas, Mesechta, Zevin Yal Shulov, Perik Shmini, Samlof, Pels, and Kende families, dedicated to the memory of Gershom ben Menachem, Yosef ben Tzvi Hersh, Yitzchak ben Mendel Aleim Shalom. Daf Kuf Ches, Moshe Lachman, for the merit of refuahs and Yeshuas for us all. David Salomon, dedicated memory of Avi Meir, Reb Shmuel Baruch ben Reb Chaim Tzvi Dov, Zechron Levrach. The Palchik Family Foundation, now Limudat Torah during Chodesh Elul bring us closer to Yimei Geula veSimcha. This is a story I don't know if you know. The whole place knows it. I said it 6 times the last week, and this story has to go into the book.
Put it on. You want to say it again?
I'll say it again for you, and everybody that wants to hear could hear again.
Story,
I'm going to say real quickly, and do you know the story of David Salomon?
I don't know which part. Well,
Oh, okay, so this is, it has to go in the book.
David Salomon before you.
David Salomon texted me, I'm saying it Bekitzer Nimros, because literally 95% of the people heard the story at least 3 times in the last week, because I'm so excited about it, but you not. So, David Salomon texted me he says, I'm from Florida, call me please, I want to give you a donation. I looked at it, I said, okay, I know the trick already. He's going to give me $50, and then he's going to yap my ear off for an hour. So no thank you. Then I was talking to my son Aaron, and I said, Aaron, this guy David Salomon from Florida, you know him? He said I should call him. He says, it's good time for you to call him. So I called the guy up, and he says, hi, how you doing? I heard about your shir, and I was very excited about it. Can I give you a donation? I said, sure. How much? So I want to give you $120,000. For whatever reason, don't ask me why, I said, I'm sorry, but I can't really take your donation. Can't take it because you said you heard about the shir. If you're not part of the shir, it's not kedai. First, learn the shir for a few days, then we'll talk. I figured I'm not going to lose it. I'll call him back afterwards. I was like, I was just joking. Let me try. So I tried. 3 days later, we schmooze again. He says, you know, I like it. I have chavrusas and this and that. He gives me a whole schmooze. I learn X amount of hours. I'm mamish into it. I don't miss. But this is, I like it. Fast forward, so he said, could I send you the money now? I said, now that you learned 3 days, I'll be mevater. Okay. So he sends the money in. Kol B'Seder, as you see here on the screen, he's the only corporate sponsor that we have yet. Be'ez Hashem will have more, but I don't mention anybody's names.
What's the number of corporate?
It's $10,000 a month.
A month. Okay.
So it's $120,000.
$10,000 a month.
So Bekitzer, he's a $10,000 a monther, and everything's going well. And as you know, he opened up a satellite location in Miami. He pushes it by Knicks. He pushes it. He paid people $500 to learn Ben Zmanim. He brings food every week. A week and a few days ago, on Thursday, I'm walking in Chicago. All of a sudden the phone rings. It's David Salomon. I pick up. It's a corporate sponsor. I pick up. He says, listen, I've been.
Another thing you get if you're a corporate sponsor.
Yes, I'm not. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. They're partners. A partner's a partner. He saves me a big headache. He says, listen, I've been learning before and I have chavrusas. Yeah, I know. He says, but now, the shir gave me a havas HaTorah. Now that I learned, I'm so into it. Can I up it by a lot? Can I up it by a lot? I'll tell you the number later. By a lot. Let me show you what. A lot.
You said only if you learn another.
I didn't say anything. I said, Beseder. No, we're working now. Maybe every video, they'll say e-copy when we start out. So that's the Maisa. And it only because I told him he can't do it unless he learns the daf. So he's part of the daf.
Amazing.
So now that's why he upped it.
Shabbaton, when we sold Aliyahs, he also bought...
and it was that was a last minute thing.
$10,000.
Yeah. He's huge. Okay, so now it's a good thing I said the Maisa. The Palchik Family Foundation, may our Limudat Torah during the Chodesh Elul bring us closer to Megula v'Simcha. Anonymous. Hatzlacha Baruch Hu v'Gashmis. Thank you to Chief Benny. The Masechta, Anonymous Refuah Shleima and Arichs Yom Talei Bas Esther. Chaim and Leah Levi in honor of the MDY family. Anonymous, for my birthday and it's close. For Atzlacha of my family, Baruchni and Begashmi, Shmili and Fegi Koenig, in honor of Chaim Levi hosting MDY, Atzlacha B'chol Anyonim. The Tzviz, Refuah Shleima to Rivka, Naomi Baslishev Batya, Arya Simon, the Refuah Shleima of Moyer Baruch Ben Miriam, weekly sponsors, Spanish year sponsor, Lili Nishmas, Rav Yishaya ben Rav Yosef, Tzvila Betkin, Zech Nishmas Leo, Beryl ben Shmuel Chaim. Daily sponsors, Mark and Yav Ashkenazi, for Shleima, Techana Malko Bas Leah having surgery today, or for Shleima. Follow the Daf sponsor for the year, Anonymous, the for Shleima, Isamar Ephraim ben Chayab Lima. Month, Rachel and Alex Katz, in honor of their beautiful children, may they grow in Avos HaTorah and Shemayim. And one of them is here with us today, Azriel. Day, Anonymous, in honor of our new baby boy, Mazel Tov. MDY Shidduch Initiative, Anonymous, Zivig Hogam B'Korev Mamish, L'Shoshana Bracha, Bashulamis, V'chaim, David Ben Shulamis. That's another thing you should put in the book. The MDY Shidduch Initiative with sugar. Yeah. Oh, well, Be'ez Hashem, by the time the book comes out, there'll be plenty. Innovations LLC as a schus for Akiva Simcha Ben Feiga and Rivki Yehudis Bas Yafa Chaya and our kids too. MDY Art for the month. For Shlema Mordechai Ben Esther. For Sayela Daniel Zeh Ben Ayel Esther. Rabbi Isai, we're holding by the Mishnah on Daf Kuf Zayin on the Beis. The good news is we have a very short daf today. Here's a question. Throw out a question. Let's say a person eats a half a kazayis of meat together with a half a kazayis of milk. Is he over on basar b'chalav? You hear the question? Usually you need a kazayis of a machal that's also like a kazayis of nevela, kazayis of treifa. He has a half a kazayis of meat and a half a kazayis of milk put together. What's going on with the baby over there? What happened? No? What's going on?
Came home last week.
Wow. As I'm asking you, like, that was a really dumb question to ask in public. But Baruch Hashem, you saved me. He could have gone a bad... Wow. Okay. Mazel tov to you. You should see a lot of... Oh, it's a boy? Wow. It's your first one. And you went through... HaKadosh Baruch Hu should take all those Yisurim you had. And that should be the end of the Yisurim from this kid. Should only give you nachas and nachas.
Amen.
Wow.
That's my great-grandson.
That's your great-grandson? Wow. So it's good news.
Baruch Hashem.
Okay.
Thank everybody for the tefillah.
For the tefillahs. And okay, beautiful, beautiful. I have no idea where I am now. Oh, so it's a half and half, and half and half. Basar b'chalav, half and half. Anybody want to take a stab at it? Half a kazayis of chalav, half a kazayis of meat, put together, mixed together. You are not allowed to answer. Well, maybe you could. You weren't at the other shir, David.
Together or one after the other?
No, together. You ate it together, but it's only half a kazayis of each. All right, so that's one of the things we're going to learn about today. Says the Mishnah, Tzoyer Adam Basar Gvino b'mitpachas achas. You're allowed to take meat and cheese, meat and dairy, and put them into one bag. We'll call it one plastic bag. Make sure they don't touch each other. Because if they touch each other, then some of the fats of one will go into the other. You'll cook it won't be a good thing. A lot of these halachas we're familiar with, and this is the source right over here. I have it in my family a lot. My boys, they don't really like to eat meat. They like pizza. We once ate by Noam, and he bought them pizza for Friday night, the first time ever. He pulls out a pizza pie, and they're like, it's too cold. We only eat it at a certain temperature. So, what do? This kid wants to eat pizza, and I want to eat meat. What do? So these are the halachas right over here. So first says the Mishnah, if you have two people that don't know each other, as the Gemara is going to explain, two guests sitting on a hotel table, they don't know each other. Each one could eat their own, because since they don't know each other, one is not going to go over and take a piece of pizza from the other guy without, it's not a normal thing. So he'll eat his pizza, he'll eat his meat, and there's no problem. Says the Gemara, so what if they're in the same bag and they touch each other? Two cold items. It's not bishul. Nothing happened here. You're right. You don't have to peel off the outer layer of either one. You certainly need to wash it off. If the cheese gets a little piece of meat on it, you don't have to wash it off. What happens if you eat that cheese later on? What happens if the cheese goes into the meat and you cook the meat and there's a little bit of cheese on it? So you certainly have to wash it off. And now the problem is that you might forget to wash it. So don't put two items of basar b'chalav touching each other. They can be in the same bag, but make sure they don't touch. Now, this is a very nice halacha. Doesn't say it here, but it's in halacha. What if the two objects are like hard cheese, a block of hard cheese and a block of hard meat touching each other? Salami. Well, salami has, you should see the salami. We hate, on the counter, you'll see like, something like salami. Yeah, a hot dog. A hot dog. Yeah, literally a hard piece touched. So the halacha is you don't have to wash it off. It's like nothing. Beef jerky. Nothing. Nothing went from the beef jerky onto the cheese, and nothing from the cheese onto the thing. So use common sense. Reb Shimon ben Gamliel lo yom shnei achsanoy moichlem al shulchan echad. Omer Rav Chana bar Ami Omer Shmuel lo yishah nu el shem makirim zeh. This halacha that two people eat on the same table because they don't know each other. Avo makirim zeh. Family members on the same table. Also, you're not allowed to have the two items on the same table. Wait a minute, before we jump into any conclusions. Two guests come to the same hotel. What is it telling us here? It's telling us that they don't know each other, because this guy came from the north, another guy came from the south. They come with their own food. He comes with his meat, and he came with his cheese. Because they don't know each other. It's only asur when they touch each other, they're together and touch each other. Says Gemara, if they touch each other, then it's asur even in somebody's bag, walking down the street, nothing to do with the table at a hotel. So here comes the halacha of heker. We all know this, the idea of heker. If this guy's eating cheese and he's eating meat on the same table, what do? So you put something out there. Some people put a placemat. Each one should ask their own rav. You put a loaf of bread that you're not going to touch. You put some sort of distinction, a heker, that you know that he's eating fleishiks, he's eating milchiks, he's eating dairy, and he's eating meat, and therefore they won't come. And it comes from this word right over here, when it's similar to touching each other, meaning there's no heker. If you have a heker, then it's okay. This is Noirvayim. I know a few cases like this. It's a message of B'chol Yom, especially a lot of times it happens after your Yerusha or something like that. I was just talking to somebody I'm very friendly with about his situation, he doesn't talk to his brothers because they said this and that, and he felt that, and they felt this, over Yerusha. It happens, you get message of it's Noirvayim. Two brothers sitting at the same table, not talking to each other. The famous Maisa, there's two brothers in their 80s, in the same shul, wouldn't talk to each other. There's a new Rav that showed up after a while, and he's like, it's my business, I'm going to make shalom over here. So he goes and talks to this guy, and he talks to this guy, and he hears the story. I hear, okay, but it's, you're not talking for 50 years, what's going on? And then, so basically, one of them said, you know what my brother did to me? He was mamash mevayish me. He sent me a shalchamonis full of mud. The cake was mud, everything was mud, and this is what he sends to me. And then the other guy says, and you know what he did back? He sent me a this, full of that. So he says, and who sent the shalchamonis? He says, my own kid. What do you mean, who sent? My own kid. So the Rav went and found the kid. Now the kid today is already 60 years old. So he asked the kid what happened. The kid said, I'll tell you what happened. Now, the kid then was, 5 years old, 8 years old. So he's scared of his father. He's going to get beat up. So he didn't say the story. Today, he's in the 60s, he said the story. He said, I was walking to deliver the shachmanis. I tripped and fell, and the entire shachmanis fell into a puddle of mud. So I took the whole thing with the mud and everything, put it back in the wrapper, and delivered it like that. The brother, he saw what a chutzpah his brother did. So he sent back something, and they didn't talk for 50 years. And when they found out the story, they started crying and hugging. Lamaisa, a lot of these stories, if you think about it, they don't even know what the reason is. You ask them, sometimes people forget. I know it was something really bad. It was mamish, terrible, this. He mamish hurt my feelings. Shtusim. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm just thinking out loud. I have to speak to Avi about this. I just hurt somebody's feelings. I have no idea what I did. No idea. Mamish, he went, he called up Avi, he called up this one, sent me an email. I don't even know. You asked me again, what I could go through it. I don't know. Sometimes you hurt somebody's feelings and then that's it. It's done. Done. Yeah. I have to apologize. Okay. I said over a Maisa about, should I say what the Maisa was?
To the person.
To the person I said a Maisa, that you didn't like that I said a Maisa because it happened how many years? 35 years ago. And it was Mavayish him in front of his children. So I asked you Mechila. He lives in Europe somewhere, yeah? Where? Should we say the country? What's his address? It's a dangerous position I'm in. Yeah. It wasn't even, whatever, Okay, we'll talk about it a different time. But sometimes you have to ask, okay, you hurt somebody's feelings. Elul, gotta do tshuva. I said this thing with Charlotte. A guy, on the app, it says 4,000 plus people asked Mechila, made up because of Charlotte. The whole story that she got killed by the father's best friend and the guy. And at the wedding, I saw this thing, he cried. Well, he's talking at the Hesped, he said, I don't want to make a machlokes in my community and we're going to be best friends and whole thing. And I found out later, I wanted to go visit them. I told Mark, I'm in Muncie, I want to go visit them. So the father and the mother, they took a vacation somewhere. The guy does our share every day. He's part of the driver. You should have a lot of chizuk. Mamash every day for a while already. The point is, somebody wrote me a thing in schus of Charlotte, I'm moichel you. And I look at it like, you're moichel me? Like, Reb Yid, you're moichel me? You know what you did to me? Like, but that's how they feel. They feel, I should apologize to them. And I was in shul and the guy was mamash saying the same exact words. In schus of Charlotte, he's moichel. For 1 hour straight, he was going crazy. This guy stole from me. He did this for me. And he's moichel me? But yeah, okay, fine. It's a way to get out of it. You could blame Charlotte. That's how you do it. You make up. You don't have to say. It's very uncomfortable to call a guy out and say, let's make up. No, I'm not making up. In schus of Charlotte, we're making up. It's a way out. Okay, Akopani, you have 2 brothers here. Umakpidim what? A way to get off the tree. Yeah, it's a way to get off the tree. I'm making schusim for Charlotte. And I'm moichel you, even though I destroyed your life. I'm moichel you. Akapanim, you have 2 brothers that are makpid zelzeh. They don't talk to each other. Lo yoleinu, they don't talk to each other. Huh? What happened?
You were doing great until like a second ago. Until like 20 seconds ago, you were doing that.
That's my job. That's my job, to mess everything up. What? Who? What?
It's a bit different.
Yeah, the what?
They don't eat from each other's plates.
Makpidim, it says. Okay. Yeah.
Now you're not allowed to take it from each other.
Right there. You have such a beautiful short, and all of a sudden, Fine. So, two brothers will not eat from each other's plate. Why? I don't know why. Omar Lei. So now there's no problem. You know that they're not going to eat from each other. So can they eat on the same table? Omar Lei. Yoimru kol asriki nasurun usriki baitus mutarim. They used to have a minhag to make designs on the matzah. You know, like on the sour bread today, they make these flowers and trees. So they make a design on the bread. So they said it's also to do. Why? Because people spend a lot of time making designs, and then it'll become chametz. But Baitos had a great idea. They had like a form, like a stamp, like a thing. They go boop, and in 2 seconds they had a design. So are you allowed to make a design? Can Baitos make the design? So it says people, of course not. Why? Loy plug. People say what? Their designs are mutter. Nobody's going to understand why. And everybody's going to come making designs. Why can you wash clothing in Chol Hamoed? So a lot of people think it's avodah. The reason is because Chachamim wanted you to have nice clothing before Yontif. I once had the opportunity to go pick up my stuff. There's a cleaner here that they deliver. Like a week before Yontif, they said no deliveries anymore. Come get your own stuff. Okay, so I go there. There's a line. All the Yerushalmis in the Hasidim, they bring their packages. It's hundreds. Because you're supposed to have fresh clothing for Yontif. The whole year, no. And Yair Yontif, Shalom Aleichem, they all show up. Not a short. Not a short. Oi! Oh, hey guys. Okay, I'm going to become much more serious by Tipas Cholav over here. Of Kufches. Says Gemara, you have this guy, he only has one robe. There's a king that was a little miserable. So one of his advisors said, you should find somebody that's super, super happy and take his clothing from him. The clothing will give you will mashpi on you. Look, finally finds a very, very happy guy. So he goes over to the guy, he says, listen, I need your clothing. I says, I'm sorry, but that's the only one I have. And then he chaft. The reason why he's so happy is because that's the only one he has. I was talking to a guy now in America. He's telling me, and I can't make this up. He doesn't watch this shit, it's okay. His private jet, the air conditioning went out. He says, Eli, you chap $60,000 for that small part. And then it was stuck for 3 days. We went over here, 3 days. The tsaris of the rich guy, this jet, Nebuch. And this guy, he only has one cloak, he's happy. That's the problem.
He only had one flame.
No, it's only not. Some of my friends, I have a friend that has two. Depends where and how. About it. Zog the Gemara. So now, this guy only has one cloak, only one thing. He's allowed to wash it on Chol Hamoed. What's his choice? Yoibro, but the problem is the Yoibro called Srikin Asur and Srikin Baitis Mutarim. You're not allowed to make designs on a matzah, but if you have a stamp, you're allowed to. Why do you give a head to this guy? What? The what? Oh yeah, only one shirt, one. Yeah. Yeah, he's very, very poor. Says the Gemara, when you have like a robe, a thing, so you take the gartel off and you wash the actual clothing without the gartel. Well, if you only have one, you put the whole thing in the laundry with the belt. So people see, Nebuch, he's a guy that only has one. They don't. Nobody's going to think anything of it. All right, Zok Tehilagi Mishnah. Tipas cholav shenofla ala chaticha. You have a drop of milk. Shenofla ala chaticha. That fell on top of a piece of meat. Imagine a chont. Rashi says there's a piece of meat popping out. A piece of meat popping out of the chont, half out, and a drop of milk hits it. So now, if the flavor of the milk goes into the meat and you can actually taste geschmack, there's a reason why, these burgers, whatever, have milk in them, because it gives a flavor. If you could taste the flavor, the milk in that piece of meat, it's asur. Now, of course, we have to understand why. Oh, hold on, before anything, I got to see this video. There's two people eating on one table. We'll see. I don't know if they're makbid. There's just two. Sound? No sound? Avrami, there's a problem with the sound, so maybe. Oh, the lasagna. Oh, it makes you hungry. That's a hecker. Why do you need a hecker? I don't know. Okay. Yeah, Rabbi said this is Geschmack. I'm going to have to watch it at least twice now. This is so good. It's right up in Mendy's alley. Hold on a second. I love his face. I love the face, the sour face. It's mamish, there's some accuracy there. Tipas Cholav. Nobody ever learned Tipas Cholav like that. Nachamol. Just how his Gemara is behind this, all the nuances. The guy learned in yeshiva, this guy. His sour. His glasses even going down, the whole thing. Second time is better, no? Second time is better. Everything, the nuances. Look at his shirt. Look at this guy's shirt popping up over here. The dirty apron, everything. There's so many nuances. The foggy glasses. And the whole thing. Look at this. It's Moiridik. Okay. He doesn't come in with the Gemara like this. He comes in with the Gemara behind his back. Those who know. What? He's leaving already. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to insult all the yeshiva. Shalom Aleichem. Come on in. Tipas chalav shenafla al chaticha. So he said, if a drop of milk falls onto a piece of meat, if it gives it flavor, it's also. Listen to this halacha. Nir sakdeiro. If he mixed in the whole thing, you went like this. You gave it a nice mix. When it fell in, and then you give it a mix. If it gives flavor to the rest of the pot, it's asur. Meaning that if it doesn't give a flavor to the rest of the pot, now the milk has to contend with the whole pot, and the pot is misgaber on it. There's a roiv. There's 60 times the milk. It's mutter. What does it mean that gives flavor? We said already. We learned the sugya. A lot of that we're going to learn today. We learned already. Giving flavor means it's less than 60. That's how we give the shear afterwards. You're supposed to taste it. If you have a guy that can taste it, let him taste it. But if he can't, you don't have a guy. So it's 60. If you give it a nice mish, you hear what's going on here? Think about it. If there's a piece of meat, it fell into the meat, and you wait, that's it, it's done. The meat becomes awesome. But if you take a spoon, somebody asked, I don't even know the answer really. You go like this, you give it a nice stir. So now the milk is not in this piece of meat. Now the milk is in the entire pot. The entire pot can be invatalit. If it doesn't have 60, then it will make the whole pot also. Here's something like this.
It's not a chatchila because they only did it after it fell in. Right. You saved the day. Yeah?
Yeah.
It's not chatchila. You had to save the thing, so you did it quickly.
Here. Something like this. Here, a boy side.
Maybe he didn't do it. He stayed on it.
No, you mixed it in real good. Okay. Now, if you didn't do it, this is if you didn't. You waited. No, we're going to see what Rav says. Rav says not like you. If the whole pot has more than 60, it's mevatel it. If you give it a mix. If you don't give it a mix, then that piece itself becomes asur. What happens with that piece that becomes asur? Does it make the other pieces asur? That we're going to see that Rav says yes. This is like a piece of nevela. First it becomes asur, becomes a piece of nevela. Now the piece of nevela is cooking in the rest of the pot. So now the 60s, the whole, you have to go 60 against this piece of against the piece. Before it's against the little drop of milk. Now your milk just became the size of the meat, and now it's much harder to get rid of it. Okay, says the Gemara. Omar Abaya, Tamoy v'loy mamashoy, ba'alma deiraisa. Sounds complicated, but it's not. Tamoy means the flavor. Usually, you're talking about a piece of treif in a pot of non-treif. You have a piece of nevela that falls in, so you could look at it. Here's a piece of nevela. You have a piece of chazer. Here's chazer, and here's the rest. So now, it makes the rest asur. But over here, you don't have anything that's physical. You have milk that disappeared into the meat. So it's just a flavor right now. The fact that the flavor makes everything asur seems like a doiraisa. Why? It's okadaydach the rabbanon. Because if it's only the rabbanon, why shouldn't it be doiraisa? In other words, why don't you learn this idea that giving off flavor to anything else is asur, and you learn it out from basar b'chalav? Why? You're going to tell me the reason why you don't learn it out. There's a little bit like you have to add little pieces here, but it's not bad. Why don't you learn from basar b'chalav the chidushu? So let's pause for a second. What's the chiddush? What's the big chiddush? This new idea called basar b'chalav. What's so special about basar b'chalav? Oh, because each one by itself is mutter. You take two mutter things. Where else do you have something similar? Two things that are mutter become asur? Kilayim. Kilayim, taking two seeds. What else? What did you say? Shatnez. Here you take Basar is 100% mutter to eat basar. You take chalav mutter, you put them together, it's us. What's the second chiddush that we don't find anywhere else in the Torah? You're allowed to cook as much as you want. You're allowed to cook a piece of chazer. There's no isser to cook chazer. There's just to eat chazer. You take a piece of chazer, put it in a pot with water, put some things, and cook it for 2 hours. You over anything? No. Basar chalav, it's awesome for you to cook it. You're not allowed to take the basar and the chalav, put it together in a pot and cook it. So that's a chiddush. So I'll tell you the reason why I'm not learning from basar chalav this idea that the flavor ruins everything is because basar chalav is special. But wait a minute. But if it is a chiddush, avagav the leke nois and tam nami. If it's such a chiddush, then why is basar chalav only aser when it gives flavor? No, it's a chiddush. So even if it doesn't give flavor, elamai, there's no chiddush. There's no chiddush in basar chalav. No chiddush in basar chalav. So I can learn it to the rest of the Torah, meaning it's the doiraisa. Basar chalav is doiraisa because I'm going to learn from basar chalav this idea that the flavor ruins other foods. And this is the end of this sugya. Don't bring me a raya that it's not a chiddush. Why? Because you need to taste it. And if it was a real chiddush, then you wouldn't have to taste it. Even stam chalav without tasting. No, the Torah says mafurish l'sevashel gedi. It has to be a bishul. What does bishul mean? Bishul means that why do I cook something? To give it flavor. So the Torah is telling you that this flavor. It could be it's a chiddush, says Rava. It is a chiddush. If it's a chiddush, I can't learn anything from it. Why does it have to give flavor? Because the Torah says it has to give flavor. It's a vashel. Okay, end of that. Now we're going back to the point that we said before. Oh, I didn't even talk about that, Taka. Wow. I just forgot that whole Nakuda yesterday. Says Rav. Omar Rav. Kivin shenosan tam b'chaticha. What happened? A drop of milk fell into the piece of meat that was sticking out. According to Rashi, we're making the sugi very simple. No machlokes rishonim, just simple shad like Rashi. It happens to be that I just said over a story recently from Remeilach Biederman. He said at our siyum, a maisa about the kameya. There was a amulet that healed, that people didn't have children, they would use it and it helped a lot. And then some genius decided to open it up. And basically the Taz wrote there, he says, David Segal, he writes in there, the schus of the Amelos HaTorah that I did on Daf, Tzadik Vav in Chullin and a Taisis over there, that schus should help this woman. And of course, once you open it up, it doesn't work anymore. But the other version of the story is, the Taz says, b'schus, the haravad that I did on tipas chalav, this sugya, because it's a complicated sugya, if you add in all the rishonim and all the shitas and this and that, but if you go with the Rashis, it's simple. The what? Kivin shenosan tam, says Rav. Once it has flavor, what happens to the piece of meat? It turns. It goes from green to red. It goes from kosher to treif. Chaticha atzmo nasis nevela. Then the piece itself became a shtik nevela. Now this piece of nevela is cooking in a pot. It ruins everything else. As we're going to see in a second, we know the famous Rabbi Yehuda that says min b'minoi loy batel. If it's the same type of food, you can never be mavatel it with 60. So now you're cooking a piece of meat in a whole pot of pieces of meat. So it happens like this. Take a look. You take a real piece of beef from McDonald's, treif, it's in a vela, and you put in kosher pieces of meat. The treif goes into those pieces. Now you can remove the original piece, it doesn't matter, everything is treif. And it's just a bunch of nevela just keeps on going, goes forever. Why? Because each piece can never become batel, even in 60. Because Rabbi Yehuda holds, min b'minoi loy batel. Okay. So the original piece is a piece of nevela. Why is it nevela? It's a piece of basar b'chalav. Ma'am is also to eat a basar b'chalav. So now it continues giving off the isser to the rest of the pieces. He must be holding Rabbi Yehuda like Rabbi Yehuda. Must go like Rabbi Yehuda that says that in the same item, if it's all meat is not batel. Lema pligad Rava. So the Chayra is arguing on Rava. The Amar Rava, this is also something we learned just recently, maybe a week ago. If you have the same item, meat, that fell into a pot of meat, but you have another thing in the pot. What do you have? You have potatoes and beans. It's a chol. What do you do halachically? Salekis minoi kemisha enoi. You get rid of the original, all the meat. Pretend there's no meat. So what do you have left? You have the piece of treif and potatoes. And then it becomes batal b'roiv. It goes like this, Rabbi Isai. Let's see how Avremi does this is a tricky video shot. I'll go this way because that's what we did yesterday. Here you have a pot of red is meat and green is potatoes. And this guy, I painted this Matzah Shabbos, Mama's beauty, I love it. Red, this is basar b'chalav right over here. So when I drop it into the pot, what happens? If I drop it into the pot and all these reds become nevela like this, these potatoes cannot be mevatel this. This is a lot. But if halachically, when I drop it into the pot, I go like this, I get rid of all these. That's what Rava says. You get rid of it, the same, any min, it's the same item, get rid of it, halachically. So now what do you have? You have one piece of meat and 60 lollies over here, 60 potatoes. The mevatel, this red guy, this guy becomes batal. It's only because I'm getting rid of all the meat. If I didn't get rid of the meat, then this would not become batal. It would gang up with all the meats, and you don't have enough potatoes to mevatel all the meat. But since it's a small piece of meat, and there's a lot of potatoes and beans in this chont, it becomes batal. That's if you hold like Rabbi Yehuda. Says the Gemara, let me just make sure I'm not missing any. Oh, here. Let's see what he did. I didn't see this yesterday. This wasn't ready yet. You pretend the meat is not there, and now you have just a bunch of chont, and the chont is mevatel the piece of meat. Huh? You pretend. No, you just pretend. Halachically, it's not there. Halachically, it's not there. It's not powerful to help you out. It's as if it's not there. You don't take it out. If you recall, anybody that watched this year, I did the same thing with Legos, like giant Legos, and there was a 1 and a 2. But I didn't bring the Lego with me. Stayed over there. Oh, Malay. So he says, okay, you're right. It's a good title what you're saying. But there's 2 types. That's if it happened like this. In a sauce, in a gravy that's very thin. Regular gravy. Then you're right. Then all that gravy and all the beans and everything will overcome the piece of meat and make it kosher. You're right. It's a special situation. The nafal b'roitev ava. I thought about, especially in our chont that we have here in MDY, the guy makes kishka, and it just dissolves in the whole thing, unfortunately, because I love the kishka. It's mamish kishmak, but sometimes it just becomes parts. Now, if the kishka was meat, and that was the gravy, so to speak, the soft part of the chong, so the whole entire soft thing is a bunch of, it's just pieces of meat. And then it becomes min b'minoi. Then the whole gravy is actually meat. Where's the picture? He had a picture of this. Here, right to Vava. Just like a piecey kind of, what's the better gravy? There's a better word than gravy. Soup, I don't know what it is. Okay, you understand the idea. If it's thick, and it's made of small pieces, there's...
No mixture.
I don't know. So then it becomes that, all that soft stuff is actually hard. Hard is actually considered meat, and the meat will be starved with the other meat. You cannot use it as a mevatel b'roiv. You can't use that roitiv, that sauce, that gravy, to go against the meat because it's actually meat. It's min b'minoi. Now we're going to learn about a concept that nobody ever heard of, not no one, a lot of us didn't hear, especially for a very long time. There's a concept called, if you squeeze it, it's mutter. What does squeeze mean? If you're able to extract the milk from the piece of meat. Milk fell into the meat, now I could extract it. How? By squeezing it. How do you squeeze it? You put it in a pot, you boil it, and it comes out. So says Gemara, why does Rav hold that the piece of meat becomes a shtik nevela? If it's possible for you to take out the milk, then you can't label this piece of meat as a nevela. Nevela means something that you can't ever correct. If you have the possibility of correcting it, then it's not a nevela. It has a temporary isser on it called basal chalav. But I'm able to do something, I put it in a pot, I do something, I give it a good skvetch, and out comes the milk, and it's mutter now. So why do you call it an nevela? To the point where it ruins the whole pot. Elak savar, you must say efshal sachtay aser. So it's a new concept, so I'm throwing it up here. Efshal sachtay mutter aser. He obviously holds it's aser. In other words, that piece of meat becomes aser forever. And that's why I could call it a piece of nevela. The Itmar, in fact, we have a machlokes, Tanoim, Amarayim, Rav, V'Reb Chanina, V'Reb Yochanan, Amri, Efshal Sachtay Aser, Shmuel, V'Reb Shimon, V'Rebi, V'Rish Lakish, the Amri, Efshal Sachtay, Mutter. Finished. And Rav is of the opinion, before it says over here, he holds Efshal Sachtay Aser, it remains Aser. I just want to say real quickly, Shalom Aleichem, to someone guess, what's your name?
Josh Brzezinski.
From?
Island Park, Edison, New Jersey.
Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom and Mechutin to Alfie Cherry.
Oh, wow. Very nice. Shkoyach.
Some good conversations.
Yeah, no, I just got a letter from a relative of Alfie. Those who understand. I showed it to my wife. Okay, hold on. Mine was yesterday. Shalom, what's your name?
Yossi Goldgrab from Muncie.
From Muncie. Shalom Aleichem, Rabbi Yossi. And you're not you want to say your name?
Fine, it's shot gross.
But you've been here more days than I've been this year.
No, actually, I was here twice for 10 days last year.
Last year? You haven't been here this year?
Just Friday and
Okay. Givaldik. Welcome back.
Thank you.
So, and you, what's your name? I just noticed you now.
It's Farakwe.
Farakwe. How many years have you lived in Farakwe? So after my time. 29 years. And you, anybody else want to say hello? We have over here Dovi Kramer, starting high school. Where's Dovi? Dovi is a big part of this year. You're going to be able to continue with the daf? You hope. I hope so too. Wow, it's a big thing. You should do well. You should love it every day. What yeshiva are you going to? Ooh. I don't know how you're going to do it over there. It's hard work. All right. Yivaldik. Okay. Zog the Gemara. I'll tell you real quickly the Smaisa. I don't know the exact details. You'll roll with it. It's Geshmak Maisa, L'Kovid Elul. This guy here in Eretz Yisrael, let's say from Beitar, he figured he's going to do a new business. He's going to open up, he got some Yerush or whatever, some money. He's going to open up a factory for glass bottles. He bought all the machinery, everything, and he got to the point where he's manufacturing 3,000 bottles an hour. Everything's going great. A year later, he sees a drop, 2,900, 2,800. He starts getting really nervous, and this. He calls up people, mumchim, they come, check. This guy says that, no. So he calls up the company from Germany, he flies them in. Of course, it's a lot of money. And they say you have to switch out the motherboard, you have to do this, you have to fix that. Nothing, garnished. There's a chaver from Kiryat Sefer. He says, let me take a look. He says, Meshuggah Hanat, you don't know anything about it. He says, maybe I'll come from a different angle. So the guy turns off the machine. He says, are you turning off the machine? You're hurting production. He says, okay, give me 5 minutes. He crawls underneath the machine. He starts looking. He calls out. He says, does anybody have a screwdriver? Give me a screwdriver. He says, you better not mess up my... He says, don't worry. 5 minutes later, the guy comes out. He says, okay, now turn on the machine. They turn on the machine, and sure enough, starts producing 3,200 bottles. More than before, 3,200. He says, what happened? He said, went under there, and he's looking, he's poking around. He noticed that one of the screws is not tight. So he gave it a 1.5 turn. I was like, he said, you know what, if that one... So he starts going around, giving each screw 1.5 turns, 1.5 turns, 1.5 turns. And that was the whole problem. The guys from Germany were looking on top in the machines. What's the Yisodra boy say? We're here in Elul. The guy thinks, I'm starting the Mesifta. I got to do Tainas Dibur maybe for 3 days every week. I got to fast, Sheni V'Chamishi. I got to do... No. You take what you have and you give it a twist and a half. You make it slightly better, just slightly better. That's what you got to do, because when you go for the moon, usually it doesn't last. Tighten it up. Zok the Gemara. V'sava Rav, Evshel Asach the Asur. Does Rav say? Does Rav really hold that if you're able to squeeze out the milk somehow, it remains Asur? V'yitmar kizayis basas shenof al toich shel chalav. You have a whole piece of meat that fell in to a pot of milk. Amarav, basar asur, the meat is asur. Why? Because it contains milk in it. The chalav mutter, the rest of the milk in the giant pot is mutter. Why? Because there's not enough flavor of the meat that went into the milk. Wait a minute, doesn't make sense. The milk should be asur, asks the Gemara. And the Gemara at the end comes out that the milk is asur. But what's the Gemara's question? Chalav amayim mutter. How in the world could the milk in the pot? Yes, there's a tremendous amount of milk. There's 22 gallons of milk in the pot, and a tiny piece of meat this size fell into the pot. Now the meat obviously is treif, has milk in it. But how could this small piece of meat, says Rav, make the whole 22-gallon pot also? Ask the Gemara, why not? Chalav nevelahu. The little bit of milk that went into this piece of meat is part of the meat. So it became basar b'chalav, it's also. Then, eventually, it pops out of the meat. And it goes into the giant pot of 22 gallons, a little drop of milk. But guess what? Now in the whole pot, you have a tiny piece of milk that's treif, that's a nevela, that's a basar b'chalav piece of milk, drop of milk. And that drop of milk goes into the whole pot. The whole pot should be asur. If you're telling me that the piece of meat is in a vela, you can't make it mutter. If you tell me you could squeeze the meat out and one day it will become mutter, okay. But now you're telling me that it's a piece of basar b'chalav. So the milk that's in it is completely asur and it goes into the pot and becomes asur. So the Gemara loylam kasav Rav Evshel Asach asur. You're right. He holds. No, we're not taking it back. He holds that the piece of meat is also forever. This is gonna mamish, but it's only havamina. So chill out. Just have it. The Isser is on the gedi, on the meat alone. Gedi asr tayr v'loy chalav. Rav says there's no Isser on the meat, on the milk. Milk that has a little flesh in it is not a problem. The problem is the gedi, the meat. That's just havamina. Turning of the Daf, sponsored by Encore Healthcare, as for Klai Yisrael, the Sellel, Shmuel and Hova Schuster, as for the Yom Adin, Adar Global Specialist in International Financial Services, Tzvila Betkin, Zeich Nishmas Elio Beryl Ben Shmuel Chayim. Says the Gemara, wait a minute, does he really say such a thing? Wait, Mar Chatzi Zayis here. That's the question I start off this year. Chatzi Zayis Boz v'Chatzi Zayis Chalav. You have a half a shear of each. Shebishlan Zem Zeh. That you cooked it together. Omarav loikal achilas. If you eat it, you ate a whole kazayis. Yes, half of it is milk. Half of it is meat. You get malchus for that. Ve'enoi loikal bishuloi. But you do not get malchus on cooking it. Does this make sense to anybody?
Yes.
A half a kazayis of meat and a half a kazayis of milk. If you eat it, you get malchus. But you do not get malchus for cooking it. Why not, Avi?
You learned that you could swallow 2 chatichos at the same time and be. That problem.
Okay, but first of all, you don't have a shear of each. That's the problem. But okay, so why? So you mitzaref. So how come you not over on cooking? You cooked it. How come it's not mitzaref for cooking?
Different rule for cooking than for swallowing.
You weren't mavashal of kazayis.
So you weren't needed. So you didn't need a kazayis.
Once they came together, you now became a chatichanas kavela of a kazayis.
The Torah says you have to have milk. How much milk? There's a shear for milk. You can't just give a 1/1,000,000th of a drop. That's for sure not. You're right? So 2 drops is okay? No. 5 drops is okay? No. That's to be kazayis in milk. And the Torah says basar. Basar means a kazayis. Each food has to be kazayis. The Gemara sticks with what I'm telling you. If this is just on the meat but not on the milk, so how could you be over on eating a half a kazayis of milk when the milk is not even asar? Chatzi shir, all you ate right now is a half a kazayis of meat, and we don't even care about the milk, so the milk is not mitzdaref. When you have a pot and a piece of this tiny piece of meat fell into the pot, the meat is also, but guess what? The entire pot is also also. The whole milk is also. V'hacha, but there's a special case that it's not also. What? If the whole milk, when you fell in, was boiling hot, then it doesn't allow for the meat to spit out the milk in it. So milk never went into the rest of the milk. The milk of this is a piece of meat, and it has milk inside of it, and it fell into the pot. It absorbed milk, but it cannot spit out milk. It fell into the pot as a whole piece of meat without milk. It absorbs. When you're cooking, it absorbs. It's not able, it's too hot for it to be piloted, to expel it.
Can be boiled at the same time.
You can use it, but not during.
Not during.
While
Oh, so ask the Gemara, so if kinaya chodapala, but isn't it going to cool down eventually? I've never seen a pot that's on the fire for 400 years straight. Eventually, you want to cook it for a day, 2 days, but afterwards you're going to shut it off, and then it's going to come out. So the Gemara, you're right. He popped a piece of meat out of it before, as it was still boiling, and he never gave it a chance to spit it back into the pot. Gufa, we're just going to do these few lines, and we're done. Gufa, chatzi zayis basar, chatzi zayis chol shebishlan zem zeh. If you cook a half a shear of meat and a half a shear of chalav together, Omarav loikal chilasa. If you eat it, you get malchus. Ve'ener loikal bishulon. You don't get malchus on cooking it. As the Gemara manavshach, imit starfin. If you could combine the two halves, abishul nami lilkit, then you should get malchus for cooking it. Eloi mitzdarfin. If they don't combine achila nami loilkit, you should get malchus for eating it. Says the Gemara loilam loy mitzdarfin. No, there's no havamina that two chatzi zaysim should be mitzdarf.
For cooking.
For anything, for eating. Ubeba miyarik doila. If it came from a large pot. In other words, there was a kazais of meat, and there was a kazais of milk, and then you ate a half a kazais of each together. It cooked as a kazais of each. The cooking was great. There was a kazais of milk, a kazais of meat, and it cooked together. That's mamash asa d'oraisa. How much do you have to eat? A half a zais of each, because then you have a shear of a kazais of basar b'chalal. That's what Ari was saying. But it started off on the right foot. It started off, each one was a kazayis. Levi Omar, af loikal bishuloi. Levi says, no, you're chayiv also for the bishul. V'chein tani Levi masnisa. What? Half and half. Half and half. V'chein tani Levi masnisa k'shem shaloikal echilas loikach loikal bishuloi. He doesn't make a distinction. So you don't have the question. Mimanav shach is mitzvah. It is mitzvah. A half a shear is mitzvah. You guys might have been saying like Levi. That what? A half a kazayas and a half a kazayas of basar, a half a kazayas of milk put together. You're over on bishul, you're over on achila. There's no difference because once you make a distinction between bishul and achila, that doesn't make sense. Mimanav shach, either it's mitzvah, it's not mitzvah. He's saying it's mitzvah in all cases. Now, a final halacha for today. How much cooking do you need? The Torah says how much? 1 minute, 6 minutes, 42 minutes. What's bishul? Bishul is, says the Gemara, bishul amru bishul shacherim oichlin oisay. When goyim, because a Jew can't eat it, acher means a goy. When a goy could eat it, in other words, it's a real cooking. Is it kemach ben drusoy more? Let's say it's more. Shacherim oichlin oisay, mach ben drusoy. It's a good cooking. In other words, whatever it takes to cook something, 20 minutes on the fire, then you're over on bishul rabboisai. Have a wonderful day.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.